Members, it's been a long and difficult meeting, but I think it's important that we take a moment to acknowledge something we've done that's really remarkable. Many people out there in the City of Toronto, including one or two on this council, one who's not even here, like to say that we're not making any progress on housing. We're very busy and we don't all have time to read reports. I just want to pick a few highlights out of the incredible work that we as a council and the Toronto Public Service, people in the not-for-profit world, people in our agencies have done this year. If you read the report, you will see that just last year, we approved over 30,000 new units of housing. That's Aurelia. We did that in 1 year. And that enabled us to exceed the provincial goal for how much housing we're supposed to build in a decade by 50%. We're building. We approved over 1,500 rent-controlled affordable and RGI units. That's this year, last year rather. We opened nearly 1,000 new affordable and supportive homes. We secured 368 units through MURA. MURA, a program created as a pilot program in the City of Toronto, which has since become a national program, housing people or protecting housing for people right across the country. We invested $350 million in the capital program for the Toronto Community Housing Corporation, improving the quality of life for countless tenants. We used our rental replacement powers to secure almost 1,800 units permanently. We allocated $61 million in tenant supports. That's 640 people benefiting from the EPIC program, 1,600 people benefiting from the rent program, 3,800 people benefiting from the Toronto Tenant Support Program, 3,300 people getting Canada-Ontario housing benefits to get into permanent housing. The City of Toronto last year helped 6,000 people who were homeless move into permanent homes. We took 1,350 people who were on the waiting list for social housing in the City of Toronto off that waiting list and got them into social housing in secure homes. And I want to talk to you about one particular program. The mayor and I were at out celebrating just over a week ago. It's called Dunn House. Dunn House fulfills a 50-year promise the federal government made to recognize that housing is medicine. 50 years ago, the government of Canada was advised, housing is medicine, you should invest in housing to help people's health. What Dunn House does, well, before I tell you what it does, a little figure you might want to know. 100 individuals in the City of Toronto make 4,000 visits to emergency rooms. These are people whose lives are in disarray, who are in crisis, who have been failed by the system. And they are consuming enormous amounts of public resources sitting in an emergency room because they do not have a home. What Dunn House does is take 51 people who are frequent users of emergency services, some of them Indigenous, and give them permanent homes with medical, psychological, dietary, and social supports on site. There were people there representing a whole range of institutions, and I want to note that this was a public-public partnership between the University Health Network and the City of Toronto with support from the UHN, the federal government, and the provincial government. A lot of people say we're not doing enough, and that's true. Some people say we're not doing anything, and that's not true. The City of Toronto made lives better for over 100,000 people with better housing just in the last year. Let's take a moment and think about the hard work we do and the hard work the Toronto Public Service does. Many of the people who do the work to deliver these programs are here, and I'd like to ask you all to join me in giving them a round of applause.